since 2011. No short trip either from Oklahoma to Kissimmee, Florida, just south of Orlando in the central part of the state, and hopefully avoiding the rain that plagued the evening yesterday and delayed some of the men's games. The women had a beautiful sunny day like today. The breeze has slowed a bit. The temperature dropped about 10 degrees. We're living in the 60s. Bergvist off the drop kick. She was crucial to Warner's efforts in the first half, staying alive. Alicia Stanley. No obvious target. Gerhardt has kept it moving. Kasoa had to be on time, and she was, to spoil the chance. Gross. There's a vocal nature to the Warner bench today. It wasn't necessarily to be found as much yesterday. Try and boost the team. Marjolaine Nakesa was just too loose. Blommel was looking for Stanley on the far side of the field, but it did last touch Stanley to draw some protest from the fans seated on the far side. We've moved fields today. We're on fields 4 and 5 of the complex. 2 new fields to try and lessen the wear and tear. Knocked into the corner by Isabel. Isabel, a high-energy wing player. Very rare to play the full match, Isabel, but tries to make a big impact when she is on the field. Gerhardt. Isabel's trying to make life difficult. Has accomplished that. Kasia Kremen. She settles things down to Kasoa. Kasoa, the other Kenyan, she not a feature on the score sheet often, but been very important, played almost the entire match alongside Uptain, the center of defense, of course, until the wholesale substitutions came in after victory seemed assured. Nakesa. To her left foot. Oh, it's been brought down. Is she onside? She is! A goal! What a touch by Kelsey DeCastro. It looked like it was a shot from Marjolaine Nakesa, but due credit for an assist. DeCastro snuck in behind, was able to control a very hot ball indeed, and just tucked it in on the near post to Bergvist. Quite the finish by DeCastro with 37-34 left to play in the first half. The ice is broken, 1-0 Oklahoma Wesleyan over Warner. That's seemingly coming out of nothing. Just the second goal of the season for DeCastro. Combination has Blommel in. Kasoa steps up to intercept the following pass. Kasia Kremen will try and extend. It's in a team full of explosive goal scorers with double-digit goals to their names. It's DeCastro with just her second of the season. And DeCastro chasing Marshall. DeCastro's closed down Bergvist considerably. Bergvist gets it away. Keeper out of Tampa, Florida. The second ball, though, goes to Oklahoma Wesleyan again. A team looking for 6 points from 2 to comfortably put it into the semifinals. And the only thing left to determine would be the seed. Would you finish top of the group or second to top? And that's where goal difference could come into play should Oklahoma Wesleyan and Grace College fight to a draw on Thursday. That will be the big match if Grace College and Oklahoma Wesleyan hold serve as the seeds, the 2 and 3 seeds in Group B. Kristen Isabel. Isabel up ahead for Alicia. Foul. Nakesa right through the back of Naisha Alicia. First set piece opportunity for either team. Not a shooting distance by any means, but there will be plenty of yellow shirts in the box. Marshall, not wasting any time, but hung it short, settles for Isabel. Her shot blocked by Chloe Johnson. Gerhardt was offside. It's a quick push up by Oklahoma Wesleyan, disciplined defending. And Gerhardt figured that in that position she would be able to sneak through. Wasn't the worst of ideas. See how far Oklahoma Wesleyan will be allowed to walk it up. Kasoa, loose ball. Uptain just has to send it forward, and there's a chance for Stanley to try and run in behind her. Uptain's kept pace. Stanley onto the left foot. Back to the right. Neither way seems a way through. Beavers in to close down. The two defenders now on Danielle Stanley, and a lot of work to do. Done enough to win a throw-in. Gerhardt jostling for possession, but it's Uptain that gets a hold of it. Nakasa, Gross, trying to keep the break going quickly, looking for DeCastro. At that time, it was too far. Uptain, loose on it, Naisha Alicia. The Puerto Rican uses Stanley to set up a crossing opportunity. Could not clear Chloe Johnson. Now Gerhardt trying to get something going towards goal, but she's found the bushes to the right of the frame. Oklahoma Wesleyan putting the emphasis on possession, deciding to play it short again and see how far Kasoa can walk. Well, the ball back to Kasoa from Holloway. It was wide, needed some work from Johnson. Bergvist. Composed play. As Kasia Kremen has about as much pace as anyone in the entire tournament. And Bergvist going to have to be aggressive off her line to try and keep Kremen from running in behind. That was a good first move from the keeper. Marjolaine Nakasa. Flat ball into the middle of the park. Marshall, a physical presence in the middle of the line. Kasia Kremen with the interception. And a chance to run at the defense has drawn a foul. Swept out by Morgan Newhart. Newhart been playing alongside Marshall in the middle of the defense. Hart not lost on the Warner side after the early goal for DeCastro. Striking inside the opening 10 minutes. Her second of the season that put Oklahoma Wesleyan up 1-0 where we stand with 31 to play in the first half. Johnson shoots, my word, it wasn't far. From the top corner. Bergvist recovered nicely after hopping in behind the wall. Bergvist trying to make a case that her wall was being disrupted as well to the lead official today. Bergvist looking for Alicia. Oklahoma Wesleyan trying to battle and collect the second ball once again. And it's Gross. Nakasa has it on her right foot and will shoot. Need more than that to beat Bergvist. And Bergvist is going to look to launch something of a counter. Isabel decides to cut this inside. Softening deflection sits up for Gerhardt. Alicia. Kasoa's had just about enough of that. In for Alicia. Just can't seem to get the ball settled in the attacking third, Warner. But have shown some better stuff after Oklahoma Wesleyan. Just the one breakthrough and a tidy finish from DeCastro. It's a team, and Oklahoma Wesleyan saw it yesterday. It is a fantastic finishing team. Takes its opportunities when they come. That's why we have the 1-0 scoreline at 29:50 to play in the first half. Kasoa, Holloway. Keisha Kremen. Just a wall pass right off Rosa Ramirez, and Kremen still going. DeCastro onside. Ramped it back to Keisha Kremen. Kremen at the angle. Bergqvist off her line to swallow up any marginally loose touch. I had a peek at what we saw from Kremen yesterday, just the ability to get the ball at her feet and take on an entire team, and can take them to task with her speed. Gross. Possession valued by Nekesa. Nekesa drops it out to Beaver. Scored the 6th goal yesterday. DeCastro back to Gross. Couple of combinations to find space in the wing. Marshall and Nekesa. Marshall's there to clean things. Aisha Alicia has found herself more involved than yesterday. Right in the middle of the attack, checking back to try and keep possession for Warner. Hasn't received a ton of support. Stanley off the right, Isabel off the left. Gerhardt tucked in behind her. It's been tough for them to put together real consistent combinations. Something for Kremen to chase. Marshall's cleared it off her. Emma Marshall, just a freshman. So a bright future ahead for her in this Warner program. Hannah Holloway forced backwards. Marisa Olegay, who hasn't had to use her hands yet, but able to involve herself at the feet a couple of times. Gets the flow restarted up to DeCastro, but met by Marshall. Ramirez, Gerhardt. There's a run for Isabel down the left wing. It's been found. Kasoa able to get to the ball first. It just tailed back towards the center back. And Olegay wisely back to Kasoa. Force Isabel to cover a lot of ground. Poor ball from Holloway. Ramirez doesn't quite sit up for Alicia. Keisha Kremen sits down to her left foot. Keisha Kremen's shot. Bergqvist struggled to handle the action on it, but had her body behind the ball and was always going to save it. Bergqvist. Warner finding itself in a fairly similar situation to yesterday. Nekesa, that ball was just too far forward, but Gross is challenging for it, has the ball, shoots off the post and in! What a shot and a goal for Taylor Gross. The finishing touch of this Oklahoma Wesleyan team is lethal. Just fought her way into a half-decent position to test her luck. There is absolutely nothing Bergqvist can do. You're not going to place a ball much better than that, Taylor Gross. And it's 2-0 Oklahoma Wesleyan Lady Eagles on 26:02 in the first half. Less than 20 minutes, and now the situation a little different than yesterday for Warner. Weathered the early storm, found an equalizing goal, and then started to bleed late in the second half to create a fairly sideways scoreline in 5-1. Warner in this instance not able to hold it at 1. In large part due to the quality of Gross's left foot. It's her 8th goal of the year, Gross, to go with 15 assists. She's been playing on either wing in this tournament. Ball is deflected by Alicia. Johnson hassled, but has it back to Olegay. Kasoa ramped along by Story. Marshall dealing with DeCastro. Down the line. It'll only get as far as Reimer. Reimer allowed certain freedom to drift towards the middle. Marshall and Nekesa hooking up play with the other side. Beaver tried to take the touch down the right side, but Boyd was having none of it. There's a break on in the other direction for Warner to try and take one back in this situation. Stanley. Boyd. 3 options in the box here if Stanley can get it squared. She can. Blocked out for a corner. More positive stuff from the Royals, down 2-0. And Beaver took that ball to the stomach. It's a bit limp in recovery. Three set at the top of the box for the Royals. Those are the ones charging in to try and get to it. Beaver nods away. Danger not cleared. Marshall and Nekesa trying to create danger going the other way. And now it's fully on. Some strides for Gross. Just scored a goal, has a taste, and gets after the back line. Offside. Rightly flagged. Kasia Kremen drifting away. It would have been a 2-on-2 situation if the combination was there. A look at the dribbling ability of Gross, and it's just another player flanking Nekesa and Kremen, who jumps off the stat sheet with her assist number at 15. But when you spend so much time paying attention to the other two, she already has a goal today and created that opportunity. Really could have been a great chance. Alicia, well controlled, pops out to Isabel. Reimer holds her own. Kasoa has the angled ball, has got in behind the high press with Beaver. And Beaver to take her space. A couple of options ahead. Gross is snuck out wide. Will she be able to get to it? She can. Has a chance to size it up. To her right foot. In swinging towards the goal. Headed up into the air. Will it settle on the edge of the box? It will not. Disruptive defending. Gerhardt settles it for Isabel. Didn't last long though. Story. Back to Kasia Kremen. Reimer. Runs into a flying Isabel. And it's forced back to Kasoa. But Oklahoma Wesleyan with a 2-0 lead on 21:50 in the first half. Zealand Shannon from Kissimmee, Florida. Again, just south of Orlando. Day 2 in Group B play. Women's NCCAA Division I soccer tournament. Best 8 teams, the NCCAA. Be trimmed to 4 after Thursday. Marshall and Nekesa. Kasoa. Has time to pick her target, wants to give Kremen something to chase, but it'll be very tough to get around Blommel at that angle. Kirsten Campbell of Cheney, Kansas will replace Rosa Ramirez in the center of midfield. Saw Campbell yesterday, now making her 11th appearance of the season. Will she be able to connect the defense with the attack? It's been tough sledding for significant possession for Warner. The 6th seed matched up against the 2 seed. A very dangerous 2 seed at that. Uptain. Blommel. The battle won by Christina Clements. She goes the direct route, and Beaver has the pace on Stanley to see the ball out of play. This is following the best case scenario for Vladan Glavinic and his side. Oklahoma Wesleyan loved how his team was able to go out and score a couple of quick goals to rest the players in the tournament format, playing so many matches in such short order. And obviously, eyes on the prize for Oklahoma Wesleyan. You want the goal difference, but you also want the ability to rest your starting players so that you can go out and try and win every match. Kasoa, Marjolin Nakasa. And his team's gone out and done it again today with the 2 goals. The opening 25 minutes, 19 left in the first. De Castro was offside. The opposite side for Warner is about trying to find a couple of things to get the team clicking after the struggle against Grace College. There have not been a significant number of breakdowns, but the 2 that have manifested were both cashed in. Bergvis stopping 1 or 2 shots from outside the box. Really the only other breaks forward. Could we have another? Nakasa checked by Boyd. Clements, excellent 1-2 with Campbell. But then leaves it well too far for Gerhardt. Now Campbell sizes up her ball. Unable to clear Reimer. He's looking for Isabel. Johnson. Flat ball, miscommunication with Kasia Kremen. Kremen acknowledging she could have stayed in the pocket of space. Change each. Lily Murray replacing De Castro's got more pace to her. Saw her play on the wing in the first half. Looks like she'll come in as the number 9. While a change defensively, Sabella Thompson, who scored her first goal of the year in the 5-1 defeat in Warner's first match. She's got Marshall. Be working next to Newhart in the back line. Stanley has some help arriving in the box if she can get it there. And might have just won a corner off of Beaver. She has. On 17 in the first period. 2-0 Oklahoma Wesleyan. Ball floated into a dangerous area. Oligay might have wanted it, but Beavers headed back to the corner. Oligay had come off her line. Second service. This might set up nicely for Campbell. Has a shot. Kasoa deflects the shot, and it's fallen for Oligay. Campbell, slow motion moment where the ball was sitting there and hers to volley. Not much anybody could do. She volleyed it back towards the far post. And Kasoa, not short on hustle, was waiting for it. A touch by Beaver. Wanted someone, Gross or Murray, to be making the run over the top. Got neither. Bergqvist. Out to Campbell. And look at Gross. Look at the hustle. She's run herself right back in front of Boyd. And now Gross wants Murray. Let's come back to Gross. Looked like the ball might head out for a second, controlled off the face by Gerhardt, and she's popped the ball around a couple times and picked out Clements. The ball is just not settling quick enough. The technique just not quite sharp enough for Warner. Kasia Kremen. A lot of space in the wide area. Plays it back across. Had Murray. Now Kasoa. Oh, it's finished off. Marjolaine Nekesa, her 4th goal of the tournament. We saw it in the first game, the composure in front of goal for Marjolaine Nekesa. It's present again, takes the extra touch, sizes up the entire situation. And once she'd done that and worked off her defender, it was hard to miss. Great work by Kasia Kremen to get things open in the wide space. There's a good run towards the near post from Lily Murray to draw away some defense. And she had a legitimate chance of getting onto the end of the ball as well. And then Marjolaine Nekesa took the ball in and put it into the back of the net. Bergqvist on an island. It's 3-0 with 15:10 left in the first. Almost exactly the same script for Oklahoma Wesleyan, which jumped to a 3-0 lead in the first half of its opening game in Group B as well, over 7-seeded Central Christian College. Murray. To size up what this would mean in terms of the tables, they always need someone with a calculator to typically figure these things out. It wouldn't mean elimination necessarily for Warner. It would mean Warner absolutely has to win its last game and needs a whole lot of help from Central Christian College. Clements. Gerhardt. Just missed communication with Isabel, and there is a chance for Kremen in behind. Blommel. When she made the move to cut the pass out, she had to get there, and she did. Stanley, the touch was too perfect. Stood right on the ball. Ortiz on the overlap. Ball took a deflection on its way to her. It threw off her control. Kasoa. Pressure. What a takeaway. Naisha Alicia showing the ability to work the high press, but with 3 options, couldn't find them. This is a good run ahead by Warner. Shows the ability to create those opportunities for the high press. Thompson. It was wasteful from Murray with Kremen making a run. Crafty from Story. Reimer. Johnson. High pressure again. Gerhardt forced the miscue to Campbell. Isabel. Kasoa. Beaver. An offensive threat from the fullback spot on the left side. Jostled by Stanley. Has it to Taylor Gross. Ortiz recovering. Down the line for Beaver. Murray. She's offside. Flag up all the way near side of the field. It's a long look for the assistant referee, but the decision, a correct one. Ortiz try and play it up. Well, the wind seems to be blowing diagonally from the front left of your screen, the far left of your screen, to the near right. Murray, can she keep hold? She cannot. Thompson threw her off, and I believe it hit Murray last, so they've given a goal kick. It's good defending from yesterday's goal scorer, Isabella Thompson. It's safe to say in the pregame, Isabella Thompson is audible. One of the louder screaming pump-up chants you'll hear. She said afterwards to her team she was worried if she'd be able to do it today. Voice challenged to do it 2 days in a row, I suppose. Kremen from the end line. Thompson waits. He's popped it clear. This is sat up with the spin for Kremen. Back for Reimer. Keisha Kremen. Both of them isolated one-on-one, but the challenge comes from Isabel. Throw stays with Oklahoma Wesleyan after some internal deliberation. Anna Moasami. Relieves Gross, scorer of the second goal today. Marjolin Nkesa's goal earlier in this match was the 30th of the year in now 22 matches, including this one. It's an incredible season, and now 4 goals in 2 matches at this tournament with a half and some 10 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Test my math at 55-15 left in regulation. Alicia wants Stanley or Ortiz. Uptain just put it out of play, headed towards the other field. This is first time that we've had 2 fields right next to each other. Yesterday was not necessarily the same case. Would have needed some kick to reach the other field. It's across a main channel of travel. This time right next to each other, so a firm clearance from one can reach the other. Far side of ours, near side of theirs. Player bobbled. We have a foul. I think they got Moasami. There was certainly a crowd on scene. Thompson has to get the ball just right. Has the heaviest foot to try and put this in a dangerous area, but hit the top of the ball instead of the bottom. It's come in low for Murray. Nkesa. Did she poke it out to Murray? She did. The ball across wanted to put Kremen in space, but took a severe deflection. No matter for Oklahoma Wesleyan on the ball. Moments later, Marjolin Nkesa. It went out of play. Across the touchline, and Ortiz, see how far she's allowed to bring it up. One-two off the interception has Story to the wing. Story headed towards goal by Isabella Thompson. That was a lot of trust in that play from Thompson that Bergvist would be on the same page, and she was. That would have been a sneaky header had it been off an offensive head. Johnson, Story. Story has been quiet, but has been a real precise playmaker. Keisha Kremen's cut inside on Blommel. Kremen towards the back post for Murray. Too far. Changes coming for Warner. Larissa Campello, Rachel DeWeird, and Lexi Garcia. We've also seen Samantha Warren enter the fray after not starting. Looking for the formula. outside of Samantha Warren. There is not a player on this team with more than 3 goals. Bettina Gerhardt has 4. The only other above 3 than Samantha Warner. She has 10. But it seemed to be hot and cold temperamentally in the first match. Strikers are, of course, an interesting breed. To be taken quickly by Johnson. Sits up in the air, and convergence of 2 units of 2. The ball's been teed up by Blommel for a run from Reimer. Reimer put off by Clements, seemed a bit confused that far up the field. Mozami stepping in, long foot from Story, again trying to set her team up. Marjolaine Nekesa has won the ball, right foot to the left. We do have a player down. I think it's Blommel up the field. On we play, Oklahoma Wesleyan. And the official is blown. As the ball came across, Blommel not moving, down on one knee. I didn't quite catch what happened. It's been the left back in today's formation for Warner. Outside of any speculation, she seems like she will be able to continue. Bergvist opting for the drop kick, try and get a little lower trajectory in this breeze that is angled into her face. The possession only lasts a few moments. Mozami missed her target. Opportunity now for DeWeerd to chase, a high energy player that did her best to try and create opportunities against Grace College. It's 3-0 with 4:50 left in the first half. Ball escaped Kremen. The goals for DeCastro, Gross, and Nekesa. Fairly measured. Ashley Rodriguez of St. Cloud, Florida has entered the game. They give Blommel an extended halftime after the knock. Johnson. Campbell. Able to control in a tight window, but the final pass was disrupted. Uptain. He's going to have to go back to the goalkeeper, Oligay. Just puts it high in the air, try and give her team time to recover. Moazami in stride. Looking to drop Kasia Kremen in. Kasia by Ortiz. Kasia by Newhart. Ball into the middle. Will it sit up? Murray and Nekesa closing in, but it's cleared away by Sabella Thompson. She's come up limp as well. It was an excellent effort. Now Marjolaine Nekesa working her way to the end line. Once Murray. Clearance was scuffed, but the only one there, Newhart. Uptain trying to create greater numbers in the midfields. Big part of the game plan today. Use those defensive players to try and get one more player than Warner has in all those areas. And whatever it is, it's worked for Vladan Glavanic. Uptain eventually bobbled and lost it. Beaver. And knock it down for Moazami. Murray has brought it in. Wanted to slip ahead. Nekesa didn't quite get her foot around it. Newhart just to send it back the other direction. 2:45. All that's left is the horn sounding on the other field, but not here yet. Warren. Samantha Warren's run herself off the ball. Trying to make something happen. She's come in from behind and committed the foul. Chloe Johnson left a lot on Warren. And that might just add an element of chippiness to this game, as Chloe Johnson wasn't too pleased to be receiving the yellow. It was an emphatic, decisive yellow card given. And Warren certainly capable of getting under the opponent's skin. Clock restarts at 2:22 left in the half. Flips back to Bergqvist harmlessly. Ortiz. Ball to keep moving, an overlapping run on the way from Reimer. Nikessa slipped it in behind for Murray. Off her line, Bergqvist disrupts the play. Murray to her right foot over the bar. And Vladan Glavinic beside himself at that chance, but Bergqvist does enough. Goalkeeper that Peyton Chitwood candidly called a baller. Nothing else, nothing more. After her tremendous performance in the opening match, she continues to give a good account of herself, Bergqvist. Top quality keeper. Did enough, as I say, to put Lily Murray off her shot. Off the first one for sure. The second one just too tight an angle. Kremen has it back from Beaver. It's a strong challenge from Newhart. It's been won, and won back by Moazami. Moazami's drawn a couple of defenders to the corner. Across for Newhart, only as far as Beaver. Beaver committed the foul. It was DeWeird who'd come all the way back down the field, jumped in front of Beaver just in time. Ortiz whips to the middle. Campbell. Marshall and Nikessa trying to slip in. Murray has been slipped in, shoots, and it's wide. Was it saved? It was. And what a save from Bergqvist to challenge Lily Murray again. 3-0. There's 5 seconds left in the half. Marjolin Nikessa will shoot, but if it had gone in, I don't believe it would have counted. 3-0. Oklahoma Wesleyan leading Warner right on the same pace as the last match for the number 2 seed. When we come back, the NCCAA Women's Division I Soccer Championships from Kissimmee. And we're all set to go in the second half. Zealand Shannon with you from Kissimmee, Florida, Day 2, Group B of the NCCAA Women's Division I Soccer Championship. And it's Oklahoma Wesleyan, the group leaders at the end of Day 1, that are off and running, up 3-0 against Warner, the 6th overall seed in the tournament, which projects them to finish 3rd out of 4 in this group. And right now, after having lost the opening match to Grace College in a heavy scoreline 5-1, it's 3-0. Wesleyan wasting no time, going right to left on your screen. Ball across from Kremen. Poked out, but Marjolin Nikessa keeps it within 25. Gross already has 1 goal. Bring it to the right foot by 2, not by the 3rd. Newhart got in the way, but she stayed down. Wesleyan, of course, in the white and black. Warner out of Lake Wales, Florida, in the blue and yellow. Holloway. DeCastro's re-entered the game, subbed out after picking up the opening goal of the match. Just her 2nd of the season, and she's on the ball. Kasia Kremen by Marshall. Kremen, the drag back pass. Story and DeCastro were just a few steps away. Nasty spin off the foot of Chloe Johnson forces Beaver all the way back, and there will be some high pressure. Uptain able to step right by Alicia. And her pass is picked. And Boyd couldn't do a whole lot with it. The pass out for Gross is too far. Trying to combine quick triangle with Marshall and Nikessa from Beaver. Uptain. Sharp eyes to keep track of the ball, but can just put it out of play. A quick running throw into the corner. Corralled, Beaver on the spot. Nikessa turns into space. Kasia Kremen, work to do. Blommel in front of her. Kremen going to take Blommel for pace and can with space in behind. Kasia Kremen, cross block by Marshall. Quick exchange in the corner, settled by Holloway. Story is looking for a service, took a deflection, will be a corner. DeCastro making the run in behind, seemed unmarked. That was an interesting idea. 41-50 remains in the match. Oklahoma Wesleyan 3. Warner nothing. The result holds. Oklahoma Wesleyan with 6 points from 2 matches. Deep ball from Kremen, it's behind the goal. Miss hit for Kasia Kremen. And on the flip side, it'd be no points from 2 for Warner. But always a tough task with the first 2 matches against the 3rd and 2nd seeds of the tournament. Knee up by Beaver. It's finally settled at the foot of Johnson. Blommel picked up an injury in the first half. The game was stopped momentarily. Seems to be okay. We'll have a long second half dealing with Kasia Kremen down the wing. Beaver intercepted by Boyd. He's trying to stick with Gross. The next pass looking for Alicia. Finds Uptain. His ever composed Olegay has changed the lines completely to Castro. Marshall and Nikessa. Is it onside? It is for Gross. Can she get to the ball? As Newhart closing down. Gross. Newhart tackles it right off her. Crucial tackling. Alicia takes the boot to the chest, but she's kept running. And the advantage only carries so far. And now a moment to collect from a Naisha Alicia. Boyd. Stanley. Kept that in. Now Uptain. A no-nonsense center half, Uptain. Decisive, make sure the ball is clear. Kasia Kremen, there might be a chance to run to this for DeCastro. The wind sat it up nicely for the forward. Wanted to go back for Kremen, but once again it's Newhart with a timely challenge. Bergvist just ahead of DeCastro's boot. Nikessa miscontrolled. Now there's a run in the other direction. Alicia is onside. Naisha Alicia has a target in the box as well, but ran herself straight off the ball. It was a lot of space for Alicia. Could have done better in the circumstances to try and get Warner, the Royals, back into this. Oligay will find the pressure. Alicia up there really is a pressing forward, spearheads the high press that Warner has used to try and create a couple of its opportunities. Kasoa controlled by Clements. She at least disrupted the play. Blommel up into the middle. Marshall and Nekesa. Just flown over the head of DeCastro. The wind playing tricks again. Nekesa. He dummied by the defender, but dummied herself as well. Boyd can knock it down, but Gross, the agility to recover. Now Nekesa has created space, dragged Newhart to the outside, but Newhart is there just ahead of Gross again. Stanley battling against Nekesa and Beaver. Uptain, take her moment. Trying to give Gross something to chase, make Boyd have to work. Newhart slipped right through to Bergqvist. Isabel had an interesting bounce right up into the body, but it's allowed Isabel to control rather quickly after a loose opening touch. But Alicia going against Beaver and Uptain, always a tall task. Kasoa dispossessed by Clements. Ramirez back for Christina Clements. On for Stanley. Trying to go back against the grain for Isabel. Isabel's going to get there. Oligay off her line, didn't get a touch. The wind to play more tricks and spin on the ball as well. Ariza Oligay was decisive in her decision. Or decisive in coming off her line, but she really wasn't the first there, and it wasn't that close. Kristen Isabel was, but Oligay coming off her line made it a nearly impossible task at that angle. Oligay. DeCastro running at Marshall. He got under Marshall. Marshall and Nekesa out for Beaver. Nekesa wanted the 1-2. Instead, it's cleared. Pressure coming from Isabel. Kasoa, it's been taken away by Alicia. There's the mistake from the high press. Naisha Alicia is toppled by Kasoa, 23 yards out. And Alicia up and okay. But Kasoa leaving her mark. Ruth Kasoa. It's the second mistake she's made out of the back today, and it will be a great opportunity to either shoot or cross the ball. Bettina Gerhardt, the Brazilian freshman from Porto Alegre. Bring the left foot to the equation. Can bend it to the post if she so chooses. Will shoot. Needs a save and gets it from Oligay. Didn't have the pace to really test the keeper, but did get it up and over the wall. Would have been measured a mistake had it gone in the back of the net in that location, though. 34-28 to play. That in the whole match. At least regulation of it. It's 3-0 Oklahoma Wesleyan against Warner. Oklahoma Wesleyan won the opening match against Central Christian College of Kansas 6-1. Misplayed by Bergqvist. Nekesa charging in to Castro. Wide for Kasia Kremen, and she'll go wider. Edge of the 18, Kremen looking into the box, settled by Nekesa. What a play! Nekesa over the bar! Oh, the skill from the Kenyan. Everything but the finish for Marjolaine Nekesa. Olayed the last defender in her sights. But a quick charge from Bergvist made it a challenging prospect. Bergvist continues to hold her own. Kasia Kremen, it's going to fall for DeCastro. Or it was before Newhart showed up. Uptain. Challenged by Alicia, who has been a thorn in the side of Oklahoma Wesleyan's defense in possession. Rosa Ramirez able to switch. Clements has Blommel overlapping at the pace of Kasia Kremen. That's all she needed on that defensive moment. Kremen. Support ahead is DeCastro, then Gross on the other side. DeCastro receives. Can't quite get it to Gross. Story. Too far for her. Gerhardt. Kasoa hangs it up in the breeze. What a touch from Gross. On the 1-2, spinning back towards Newhart, but she has work to do. Has it clear, and not only does she have it clear, she found a target as well in Stanley Boyd. Rosa Ramirez. Well shielded by Beaver after Danielle Stanley lost hold. Throw to run down the side for DeCastro. DeCastro's battled herself into quite the position. Look at DeCastro go. Gone down in the box. Appeal for a penalty not given. And that was certainly close. It's just how much of the ball was touched up, as DeCastro was touched up. Strong exception from Vladan Glavinic on the Oklahoma Wesleyan side. Well aware of how nice another goal would be. Talk about it with him in the pregame, how he like to be able to get his starting lineup just off the field as quickly as possible. And at 3-0, it's not completely settled. And you never want to be the coach that pulled out the lineup too early. Beaver and Alicia battling for it. It will be a throw for Beaver. Newhart hassled into putting it out of play by DeCastro. Quick turn by Alicia. Beaver, they'll make sure that attack doesn't go far. We have 4 changes, or 3 due up, with Warren, Campbell, Ortiz, and I was right on the money. 4 DeWeird as well. Try and keep the energy up for Warner. Ramirez, Boyd, Isabel, and Naisha Alicia. Bettina Gerhardt wanted to slip Stanley ahead, and it was intercepted. Warren, prone to long runs to take it on. DeWeird, back for Warren from 18, steps it to her left. Warren saved by Oligay. Back to Warren again, shoots, and it is in. In moments, Samantha Warren has her 11th goal of the year. The first sequence after the substitutions. Excellent opening save by Ariza Oligay, but it fell for Warren again, and even though Oligay got a piece, she didn't get enough. It's the quick ball back from DeWeird that opened the space for Warren to have her shot. Creative touch to the inside to get closer, and Oligay having to make her first difficult save of the match. Not just the match, but the tournament. For the Oklahoma Wesleyan keeper, conceded a late wonder goal to Gushwa of Central Christian College of Kansas from 25 out right in the top corner. Not much Olegay was doing about it. So this is the second match Oklahoma Wesleyan's gone out. Very hot at the beginning, but has conceded in the second half. The deal with the first match of the tournament was that Oklahoma Wesleyan scored 3 more goals before finally conceding with 3 minutes left. This time, no goals yet in the second half for Oklahoma Wesleyan. A second half advantage for Warner at 3-1. And it was Warren able to do it. Polarizing, yes, but the greatest offensive threat the Royals have. Marjolaine Nakesa had the best chance of the half for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Sits up for Murray. Wanted Kasia Kremen. Blommel there. Her cutout too strong onto Holloway. Murray. Kasia Kremen. Kremen cuts it in to her left foot. Plays the ball far post. Wanted Taylor Gross and honestly wasn't too far away from going in on the own. But both options failed. Kasia Kremen continues to be a creative force, though, always present. Marjolaine Nakesa won the ball down. Dangerous area to give it away for Warner. Nakesa there again. Campbell collect the loose ball. Under pressure, though, Campbell. We'll just pop it forward for Warren to chase. Warren battling with Uptain. Touched out by Beaver. More changes coming. Larissa Campello and Lexi Garcia both appeared in the first half. Bettina Gerhardt and Danielle Stanley make way. Back towards Kasoa. It was a loose ball back for Olegay. The screams to apply the pressure from Peyton Chitwood and his staff on the bench. The high pressure has created the vast majority of the opportunities for Warner. DeCastro. Murray has the speed to run. Marshall is hanging with her. Freshman defender. Ball out for Gross. It's tucked in behind Ortiz, but Ortiz able to recover. Can she save it from being a corner? She cannot. And Oklahoma Wesleyan will get forward in mass. Taken by Murray. Oh, it found an interesting area. Kasoa all by her lonesome 9 yards out. Couldn't keep the header down. Thompson and Boyd. Thompson, her first appearance of the second half. Boyd, a return. Which will come in on the opposite side to give Blommel a breather. Straight up the middle by Bergqvist. Warren has a chance to play a through ball for Lexi Garcia, but Olegay responsibly off her line and covered the space well. Well found by Warren. Thompson up for Clements. Flying in Kasia Kremen. Marjolaine Nakesa. Murray. Bobbled around. Challenging position for Ortiz as it blocked down by Marjolaine Nakesa. Thompson bearing in on her. Nakesa is taken by Ortiz. setting up something on the throw. Beaver. Marjolaine Nikessa just inside the 18, but cleared out to Samantha Warren. And Warren with her room to run. A chance to take on the defense. Has an overlapping run, tries to make the pass. It's blocked up initially by DeCastro recovering. It was a penetrating run by Rachel DeWeird, who teed up Warren for her goal earlier in the half. Warren tried to return the favor. It was almost an even break for Warner, a 3-on-3. Story. Looking for Gross. Has dropped it in the pocket. Taylor Gross around Ortiz in the area. Gross across the goal behind Murray. Oh my. What an opportunity for Oklahoma Wesleyan to try and stretch it back to 3. But the pass missed Lily Murray. Gross getting in behind now. Murray, a chance to challenge as Bergvist off her line for the pass back. Ball towards goal. It's ushered out of play by Thompson. But a roll of the dice for Bergvist. Not her sharpest moment, but there wasn't a ton Murray could do at that angle. The help obviously not arriving in time to keep Bergvist off her line. Clock at 22:58 left. 3-1. Oklahoma Wesleyan. All 3 Oklahoma Wesleyan goals in the first half. 2 great chances that have not materialized for the Lady Eagles. The Royals of Lake Wales, Florida, have found one and pulled it back to a 2-goal deficit. One more to really make it interesting down the stretch. Oklahoma Wesleyan with other ideas. Kasia Kremen has Thompson beat for pace. Will get there with a chance to cross. Lays it back. Murray takes her spot over the bar for Lily Murray. Had time to wind it up. That's an opportunity or a matchup that Oklahoma Wesleyan can try to exploit. The Kasia Kremen with space to run against Thompson. Marjolaine Nikessa. Newhart couldn't find it initially, so Nikessa with a chance to run in, have a go with her left foot. Opportunistic, but always wide. Assertive bit of play from Oklahoma Wesleyan. 21-34. That all that remains for Warner. Thompson. That'll go straight into the stands. A whistle and a foul. It's gone against Oklahoma Wesleyan. DeCastro wouldn't call her pleased with the decision. Thompson a chance to loft it. Met by DeCastro. Then Clements the opposite number. Story. Kasia Kremen. And Kremen with the room to run again. Has Murray to her right. Lays it off to Lily Murray. Pulled Murray back to the crowd a bit, but Murray is in with a chance to shoot, and she scores! Lily Murray! 4-1 Oklahoma Wesleyan. Missed the opportunity moments ago, was not going to miss again. Lily Murray. Could say she was due for one after the chances she was involved in. Kasia Kremen made Murray wait to receive the ball. Took a while for it to get to her, but she still maintained her advantage in front of the defense and popped in her 6th goal of the year with composure. Bergvist on some sort of island. And after Warren's goal closed it to 3-1, it's back to 4-1 and back to the 3-goal advantage for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Kasawa. Obtain. Beaver. Marjolaine Nikessa. Nikessa trying to draw the defender, but Newhart Well positioned. Nikessa flips it round on Campbell. Beaver. Warren. Campbell missed the touch, and there's a chance breaking the other direction for Story, who's deked her way by Warren as well. Story out wide for Gross. Bergvist caught off her line a bit, having to retreat now with Gross in front of her. Gross cuts to the right foot, challenged by Bergvist. And Bergvist once again doing enough to allow a clearance of the ball. Murray, second half goal scorer, collects, restarts the attack. Marjolaine Nikessa. Thompson only as far as Murray. Lily Murray trying to power her way forward. Thompson overran it initially. Murray flying in. Handball. Left her arms up in the air to try and keep the ball in the area. But Oklahoma Wesleyan certainly has tightened the screws the last couple of minutes. 18:35 remains. It's 4-1 Lady Eagles over the Royals. Beaver charging forward, left a lot on Ortiz. Not one to pull out of a challenge. Changes cued. Chloe Johnson will return to the field along with Ashley Reimer. Rosa Ramirez on the Warner side. Maybe just a little room to break inside Warren, but off her line Olegay. Always going to win the race. Good pressure from Lexi Garcia. And that has been Warner's number one card to play, that high pressure. Look to force mistakes. Newhart and Thompson. Ball's headed back to Bergvist, just running away from Nikessa. Thought about giving chase. Holloway on down the line. Ramirez. Campello. It's a solid ball looking for Garcia, but Uptain just flowing in behind, collected Murray. A bit of gas to their own, attempted a touch. Final 15 minutes of play. Oklahoma Wesleyan up a comfortable 3-1 margin. 4-1 rather, 3-goal margin. And it could be more. Kasia Kremen has all the room to run behind, and that's where she's most dangerous, but she's lost control of the ball. Regained in time, Kremen twirling now. Didn't get her foot all the way through it. It's bobbled up to Bergvist. Just a rare sequence of poor touches. De Castro has kept it alive. Looked like the ball might go out, but the swirling breeze will do funny things. Clements. DeWeird. And Chloe Johnson having absolutely none of it. As for what this will mean moving forward, it means Oklahoma Wesleyan is, for all intents and purposes, through, with the exception of a very strange situation that involves Oklahoma Wesleyan losing, Central Christian College winning against Oklahoma Wesleyan, and in its next match, the lowest seeded team in this group. The 6 points from 2 matches with a rock solid +8 in the goal differential column. Got to finish in your top 2, the top 2 of your 4-team group and 2 groups here at the NCCAA Women's Division I Soccer Nationals. On the Warner side, it will be no points from 2, and we'll need, again, help from Central Christian College. Need Central Christian College to win the next game at 2:30, and that would be a massive upset to have a chance to advance. So it'd be very challenging indeed, especially with the damage done to the goal difference. Boyd, the 6th seed, looking for a second goal, but Kasoa was waiting near post. Story, try and save as much yardage as she can. High boot. Alicia right in front of the forehead of Story. Play is set. 13 minutes remain, and there is, on a downside for Oklahoma Wesleyan, not the same situation where the starting lineup able to be removed and rested. Warner pushing Oklahoma Wesleyan, especially in the second half, hard enough to force Vladan Glavanic to keep his star players out on the field, not rest them. But there will be a rest day tomorrow before play resumes on Thursday, and then through Friday and Saturday if a team is fortunate enough to make the finals, which Oklahoma Wesleyan putting itself in that kind of position in group play. Angled ball is controlled by Reimer. She's unleashed Lily Murray upon Newhart. But Newhart stood her ground, not fooled by the swerving. Reimer. Alicia keeping up the pressure. It is team defending. Disciplined, hard-working from Warner, making life difficult to play out of the back. 5 players up contesting, but once the ball gets behind like this, it can be troublesome with just 5 defenders back in position. Akessa played it off Holloway. Thompson, and it will be a throw. Clock stands at 11:43 in the second half. Shots measured 16-4 for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Back for DeCastro. Poked out from underneath her by Newhart. Corralled and then fired almost out for a throw-in by Chloe Johnson. Just a wild swing. Castro wanted to play Murray to the line. Has played her into the middle, and she's found a pocket of space. Lily Murray running in behind Boyd. Recovering Clements. Able to cut Murray off, but it falls kindly for Murray across the face of goal. Thompson cleans it up, then Thompson again as it went back to Murray. Cleared away by Blommel. What an effort by Thompson. That ball was more likely than not finding the net. Would have been the cherry on top. Warren trying to potentially make it a little interesting down the stretch for Warner. She is the goal scorer. Ball caught Chloe Johnson up top, and that will prompt an immediate whistle. And she will be checked out. Trainer called for. Never fun to take a ball square to the face, and she went down quickly, but she's also up quickly. The The official audibly saying got hit in the head, so you got to make sure she is okay. So out comes the physio. Gross will re-enter the contest. Scorer of the second goal. Hope that Johnson's okay as we play into the final 10 minutes of a thorough performance by Oklahoma Wesleyan. The second half level at 1 goal apiece, but 3 from the first half to carry the Lady Eagles. Pressure almost too much for Story. Kasoa is a hot shot for Holloway. Has been taken by Isabel. Blommel. Into the middle looking for Bettina Gerhardt. Alicia Clemens. Slips under Murray. Boyd has Stanley overlapping. Defender goes with her. In for Bettina Gerhardt. Tried to flip it forward for Alicia. Just one too many defenders in the way. Danielle Stanley lost it. Marjolaine Nakasa for De Castro, taken by Alicia. Nakasa, Murray. Nakasa with options. Almost hat on hat going up the field. Couldn't pick one out initially, but Taylor Gross can make something of this against Blommel. She's won a corner with 8:24 left. Murray to take. Hangs it up in the breeze, but he ends up just a bit short of the location. Gross. Challenged by Blommel. Blommel's taking it away, done well to find a pocket. Her pass comes right back to her. Gerhardt. Oren back for Blommel, but the pressure from Story stymies a flurry of possession. Bergvist. Touched up by Keisha Kremen, who has tremendous closing speed. Now a couple joining Thompson over the ball. Kremen back, Marjolaine Nakasa out for Murray. Has area, the edge of the 18 is offside. Already 1 goal in the match for Murray. It's De Castro, Gross, Nakasa with her 30th of the season, and Lily Murray in the second half. Just Warren for Warner. Earlier in the second half, made it 3-1 at the time. Lofted ball from Clements over the head of Boyd. The 2 seed has delivered on its seeding again. Oklahoma Wesleyan against the 6 seed from Lake Wales, Warner. Reimer is shielded all the way, but it's a throw in the other direction. Ball stayed in. Kasoa, they're going to say it went out and then came back in. Kasoa a bit in disbelief. It was a very strange exchange going back and forth as the quick throw and I just caught this visually. The quick throw taken by Alicia was taken from entirely on the field of play. But the way the game flows and the officials' eyes moving, not quite trained on Alicia at that moment. She got a couple of yards in her throw by just standing in the field. Oligay will take the ball over the top. Safe hands as any, 5:30 left. After that really confusing turn. Ariza Oligay. Holloway out for Gross. Oklahoma Wesleyan to look for one more. The goal difference so important. It sits at +8 right now. Grace College at +4, playing Central Christian College of Kansas next. So if those two teams draw, the goal difference will decide who has topped the group. Gross. Bending ball looking for Murray. Murray got there. It's fallen. Marshall and Nekesa into the crossbar. Bergvist was out of her goal, and Nekesa that close to a brace. That kind of second half for Oklahoma Wesleyan. 3-4 real good chances to score. One goal to show for it. Well taken by Bergvist, but just misplayed by Boyd. Here comes the press. DeCastro turns to the wing, Lily Murray. Marshall and Nekesa has given Lily Murray something to run after, and she will get in behind Boyd. Lily Murray streaking in on her right foot, shoots wide. And there's another chance for Oklahoma Wesleyan by the wayside from Lily Murray. And just hands on the head for Vladan Glavonic. As the horn sounds in the other contest across, we still with 3:45 to play. A flurry at the end from Oklahoma Wesleyan. Bettina Gerhardt, the Brazilian, by 2, by a third, battled the ball up to Uptain, but Uptain's just put it back in the Oklahoma Wesleyan attacking half. Kasia Kremen moved to the edge of the area. Back to her right foot. Nekesa shoots. It's in! Marjolaine Nekesa! Post and across. What a take from 18. And the Kenyan bags 2 more for 5 on the tournament. Cool as a cucumber as she buried that one in the top corner. It's hardly made an expression, but she has made an impression. Clock stopped at 3:13 and a big goal potentially for the goal difference for Oklahoma Wesleyan. And for Warner, it's once again a bitter pill and a 5-1 scoreline after really hanging around for a good part of this half. Cutting the lead to 3-1 and conceding a couple of late goals to provide a one-sided scoreline in the end against the Royals. And high pressure coming. Oligay. Reimer. What a finish that was by Marjolaine Nekesa. Clements, player of real quality. Over the top. Will this set up for Isabel? It will not. Ariza Oligay there. You figure with the wind blowing from the near side of your screen to the far, might have a chance to knock it wide and away from Oligay, but it was not strong enough. Nekesa. Weighted balls, perfect for Reimer. Murray is caught in a battle with Stanley. That's a tough goal to concede for Warner, a team that is still mathematically alive with a loss, but with a goal difference that sit at -8. It'd be absolutely nearly impossible, would need a tremendous performance in its final match. Wide for Gross. Kremen. Thompson did well to step in and has put it clear. Obviously, when you make it to a national tournament like this, that in itself a large achievement. It's always tough coming against the best in a neutral site. Lily Murray. Nakesa. It looks like Oklahoma Wesleyan certainly is a team with a chance to declare itself the best. The way it's played through two with a goal difference of +9. A 6-1, now 5-1 lead as we're in the last 50 seconds, and it looks like Oklahoma Wesleyan spoiled its last opportunity to add to the line. It's fallen for Isabel. Isabel looking for Stanley, who is far too heavy. $19 shots to 4, the tally. It was a good burst in the middle of the second half from Warner. The goal from Warren. The second half tally now runs 2-1 to Oklahoma Wesleyan. Carried the first half 3-0. Waiting on the horn. And there it is, 5-1. The final has put Oklahoma Wesleyan on top of Group B with 6 points from 2 matches. None from 2 for Warner. And Warner will be very hard done to try and find a way into the top 2 now. We'll be taking on Central Christian College on Thursday, where it will be Oklahoma Wesleyan against Grace College, who we'll be seeing up next. You're watching the NCCAA Women's Division I Soccer Championships. Oklahoma Wesleyan